quite literally the end of the road, the southernmost point of the USA. It has a population of 26,000, one of whom was that famous old macho man of the sea, Ernest Hemingway, and 1 million tourists annually. There are more bars per head to sin in here than any other town in the USA, which is probably why Mr. Hemingway liked it so much, but luckily more churches per head to repent in afterwards.
Great fishing opportunities are obviously a major attraction for tourists coming to the Florida Keys, but it was a far less respected offshore activity that made Key West's fortune. This city was once the richest in the whole of the USA, thanks to smuggling, piracy, and bounty hunting amongst the shipwrecks. Now that dubious tradition is being carried on by drug barons on the high seas, and so consequently, it's not just fishermen, but also the US Coast Guard who are hunting catch of the day.
Haven't been boarded by the Coast Guard or any federal agencies recently. They have no weapons on board.
Roger, standing by.
Key West is known through the drug smuggling community, just because of the fact that it's so close to the drug-producing nations that they are very familiar with the area and they know that they can probably sneak in this way. But on the other hand, we also know that, and we've been very, very successful in stopping them from entering southeastern United States. Recently, we were on a relatively large bus. We were down in the Caribbean. It was late at night. We had a radar contact. We went in closer to observe it, and we turned the spotlight on and found bales floating all around the vessel. We eventually tested it. Turned out to be marijuana. Total weight was 7,200 pounds, with an estimated value of well over $1 million. From the moment you see the drug floating in the water, the excitement level is unbelievable. The whole crew is real, the excitement, people screaming, it's really exciting.
Key West is a city that always has an eye for the instant high. I mean, they call this stuff Key West tea. So it's not surprising then that some of the passing drug trade gets a little bit waylaid in these streets. Why do you think people in Key West get so into drugs and drink?
Well, there's so many bars and there's so many dealers. I mean, it's so easy. I mean, if you were a fat woman, this would be like ice cream shops up and down the street. It would be almost impossible.
So at its worst, I mean, how bad did the drug addiction get?
Well, I just remember, one night in particular, being up all night, and I'd run out of coke, and I was laying in bed and couldn't sleep, and my heart was beating so fast. I really thought I was going to have a heart attack. A friend of mine, 30 years old, had just had a heart attack by cocaine, and finally making it into the bathroom, holding onto the sink and just being white as a sheet, and I looked like I was 60 years old, and it was very frightening. Well, this is a tiny island, and our jails are full. The really serious offenders are putting in the people that have been caught 5, 6, 7 times first. So if you're just caught once or twice, you're probably going to get probation, a few $100s fine, and maybe community service, but you're not going to go to jail.
Sunday morning in a church in Key West, and one thing that all these men and women have in common, obviously, is their faith in God. But there is something else that unites them, their sexual orientation. All of these people are glad to be gay. Even in Key West, there's still one place that it's not okay to be gay, in the Navy. were sort of going out one night and you were going in and out of gay clubs and things, and somebody from the Navy saw you, would that still not be a problem?
It could be, potentially, depending on who they are and how tolerant they are. Fortunately, most people are grown up and somewhat tolerant of the diversified lifestyle here in Key West. So if they see you going into a gay club, more often than not, they're not likely to pry into your private business. Here I am in public service, willing to give my life if need be, and they can't even give me a few basic rights. Should I have a lover and he get ill or die in an auto accident, I wouldn't be able to go and see him or go to his funeral and get emergency leave as I would if I had a female wife. Just a few basic rights, that's all I'm asking for.
This is certainly a wonderful place to look for a cute man, as long as you are a man. But women in Key West have always had a tough time when it comes to the opposite sex. In the past, all the men were away at sea, which even gave rise to a special architectural feature known as the Widow's Walk. Many houses here were built with these special lookout posts on the top so that lonely wives and mistresses could scan the horizon for their men coming home. And these days it's even worse. The women aren't looking out to sea for their lovers because they're lucky if they can find a lover at all. There is a woman down here who has found one of the few available straight men, and they're in a relationship and it breaks up. What happens to that man?
It's
all the women
hunt. Yeah, it's a sea hunt. It's you have to really let your ego go and not be possessive at all, because you know your boyfriend is going to date other women once you break up, and they're probably your best friends. They're traded off like trading cards, like baseball cards, pretty much. Really, the only available men are tourists that are interested in women, and they're certainly not into a long-term thing because they have their lives at home. They come back down here and pretend to be something they're not and lie. The few tourists that are attractive lie anyway, so you never know what you're getting. You have to be pretty desperate to date a tourist.
Why do you have to be so desperate?
Because, I mean, you never know who they are. You have people coming through here that pretend like they're rocket scientists or something, and they're actually like sanitation engineers in Podunk, Iowa. You never know. They're here for a week. How would you know?
I can see that you're not a desperate woman,
well,
so I'd never call you a desperate woman.
That.
But let's just, hypothetically, if you ever got really that desperate, would you ever move away from here just to find a man?
I would move away from here before I would date tourists. That's certain. No, I think that when the time comes that I feel like it's time for me to settle down, I doubt very seriously I'll be able to do it here. If that biological clock ever starts ticking, I think that I'm going to have to go, which I don't want to do because I love it here.
People always escape to Key West. It's a real haven for misfits and ne'er-do-wells. Whether they're on the run from the mafia, the law, or various ex-wives, if they keep heading south, they'll always end up here. It's literally the last resort. But now there's a new breed of drifters. Here they call them freshwater conks. The only thing they're running away from, though, is the immigration officer. And the only visa they're likely to have is a plastic credit card. For foreigners who come here to find work?
Well, I can only say really through my experience, my friend's experience, it's ridiculously easy. There's always help wanted signs in a lot of the stores along the main street, which is Deville Street. So you can pick up a job there. Then, a lot of people change jobs and get better jobs. just through word of mouth.
How much do you think you're being exploited here?
To a certain extent you are, because we're mostly working for a lower wage than most Americans would. But it's enough for me to live on, and I can save up and I can go out, so it's all I need really.
Do you ever worry that people are going to find you out? You know, you're going to get stopped or deported or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent you do, but because there's so many people here doing the same thing, and it's on quite a large scale, you know, the whole tourist industry would almost shut down if they deported a lot of us. If you keep your head down and you're quiet, it's okay. Compared to like what I'd be doing now on a Saturday night in England, I mean, this is just 10 times better. It's wonderful, and at the moment I just can't stay away from it.